Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 11th of June. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right, this is a video for paying subscribers at chartingmarkets.substack.com and is published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. Okay, well, we had bearish tape yesterday, and we've had bearish leading tape today, and didn't deliver yesterday, and so far today, well, it's not delivering today either. So we will see. We've got a weak 60-minute sell signal fixed on the ES chart, but it's only a weak one, and we may be in the process of losing that. So if it goes a bit higher, then we are going to lose it. On NQ, no current divergence, but obviously making higher highs. RTY made decent higher highs so far today. And a 60-minute sell signal is fixed there, but obviously is in less danger, but is still in some. On YM, no current divergence, but again, higher highs. All of these have now retested their May highs, and are starting to think about retests of the main highs. So on DAX, we've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed now, and nothing on ESTX. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Okay. Let's have a look at ES. ES, we lost the possible weak RSI 5 sell signal. It is no longer brewing, so we no longer have a negative divergence there. We are making more upside. We only have to get up another 185 points from yesterday's close, more or less, to retest the all-time high, which is the obvious target for me. Okay, looking at the SPX chart, the same. We still got a possible weak RSI 14 sell signal brewing. On the hourly chart, nothing. On the 15-minute chart, nothing. We're holding this trend line here. We didn't go lower and hit the obvious trend lines on trend line areas on the Qs and on Dia, but we can always do that later and potentially not do it at all, although I really would like to see those hit. Okay, looking at the Qs, we haven't quite lost the possible RSI 5 sell signal that was brewing, but we're getting pretty close. We are getting very close to a retest of the all-time high. Really not far away. That only needs up to go up another 5 or so to get there. Looking at the Qs, no current on the hourly, no current negative divergence, nothing on the 15-minute either. This is the trend line I would like it to hit because it will make it easier to form a pattern here. We will see. On Dia, we already had an RSI 5 sell signal, but I'm calling it because it's reached the possible near miss target, and I'm not expecting it to deliver at this stage. So when it reaches the possible near miss target, and when it gets back to 70, I just wipe it off the chart. Okay, on the hourly chart, no current divergence. On the 15-minute chart, no current divergence. We are further away from the all-time high here, but still within reach. That's up in the 448 area, and it's currently in the 430 area. But the star of the show, in terms of patterns at the moment, obviously, as I've mentioned, is IWM. Now, on IWM, we've got decent-looking IHS here, and that has formed, and it is broken up. And that's got a retest of the all-time high, target at a retest of the all-time high. Now, if it makes that target, then we're probably going to go well beyond a retest of the all-time high on SPX and NDX, and significantly further, probably on Dia as well. This is an ambitious target. Is it going to make it? Who can say? But at the moment, I'm not seeing any particular reason on the chart to think that it isn't going to make it. I have to say, looking away from the chart, I can see any number of reasons why it might not make it. America's got issues at the moment. There's the trade war, there's the pending constitutional crisis, it would appear, and there's any number of other issues. But all we're looking for here really is some retests of the highs, and I've seen some wild high retests in the past, and at the moment I'm not seeing anything to suggest really that we're not going to see a high retest here. Not necessarily on IWM, but I am expecting to see it on SPX and on the Qs at minimum, and very possibly on Dia. Okay, looking at DAX, we've now got an RSI 14, a weak RSI 14 sell signal fixed, and we've got an RSI 5 sell signal fixed. We're testing the daily middle band. We've got a 60-minute buy signal, obviously, on the future. So I'm expecting it to hold the daily middle band for now. Unless the daily middle band breaks, I'm not actually significantly concerned. We've got that really holding across the board here. On Nikkei, testing the daily upper band, no current divergence, and as I said, if IWM can make the target at the retest of the all-time high, then this can probably make it to a retest of the all-time high here at 42.4k. Okay, let's have a look at currencies. Now, DX, I'm wondering here whether actually what we've got here is a possible inverted head and shoulders forming. We had a decent looking double bottom, and that's already broken up, but it may be evolving into an inverted head and shoulders, in which case I'd expect it to break up pretty shortly. We will see whether that happens. It could just fail back into the lows, and the original double bottom reading was correct. Looking at the euro. Okay, euro. I've got an obvious trendline target up here in the 1.1555 area. I think it might make it, but we'll see. We'll need some significant further weakness on the dollar if we're going to see that. So a rejection back into lows and continuation down running. On GBP USD, possible little level top. USD JPY, we broke up over this declining resistance. I'm not sure that's particularly significant, but I'm watching it with interest. At the moment, we are failing to convert the monthly pivot to resistance. Sorry, to support. USD CAD, possible bottoming action. Australian dollar, possible level top setup. We've got possible significant reversals brewing here, which would be consistent with the dollar going up, but it's nothing that looks particularly compelling. Okay, ZB. I'm wondering whether what we're doing here is we're forming a head and shoulders. This would be the left shoulder. This would be the head. This would be the right shoulder. This looks like a bear flag wedge, which has broken down, and this would be a head and shoulders that would get it down to a low here. And obviously, that's not the direction it's going so far today. In fact, we're getting pretty close to the neckline, and we had the news, and we have bounced up, and bonds have bounced up with equities because bonds at the moment are fairly correlated with equities in the short term, and you often see that on a short-term basis. We'll see how that goes. Looking at the ZN, this again looks like a flag setting up a retest of below. Again, we've seen a bit of a bounce today. We'll see how that goes, but I'm still quite liking that setup. Okay, looking at CL. CL, we had this little wedge, we had an overthrow, we had a slight breakdown, and we've got, I think, this looks, normally you won't get the second overthrow after it's broken down. So I think this is probably heading towards this trendline target, which I've got in the 67.75 area. I've called the sell signal, as I reckon that's reached a possible near miss target. We haven't quite done that on HO, which again broke down from the short-term rising support and is breaking up again. We haven't broken over the resistance trend line yet, but I'm wondering about a move up into this resistance trend line at 2.1. Bob, I'm wondering about the possible test of this resistance trend line just under 2.2. NG, we're getting pretty close to a retest of the low here, and we've got a little level top here. I haven't marked in the trend. I marked in the support, but I haven't marked in the targets. But it would really take us back into a retest of the low. I think that may be where it's headed here. Bigger picture, I'm kind of liking the downside more on this. I do think there will be economic weakening. I think the US is probably in a recession now, and I'm not really seeing it's going to improve. I think we're in a kind of phony war period where we're waiting for the main economic numbers to come through the system. It takes a while, but I'm not optimistic about what's going to happen when they arrive. GC, no current divergence. Obviously, bigger picture, we've got a bull flag here. It's broken up. We've seen a bit of a retracement afterwards. I'm expecting this to resume the move to the upside soon. SI, the 60-minute sell signal has reached the possible near miss target. This looks like a bull flag forming on palladium. Looks like a bull flag forming or a triangle. If it's a bull flag, we'll see a move down into about the 106.3 area next. On platinum, we've now had two 60-minute sell signals fail. This is a strong trend. Now, I obviously mentioned it broke out of a 2-year compression triangle, and it's following through on that. But two failed sell signals, both of decent quality. That's a pretty strong indicator that you shouldn't be short this particular instrument. So we will see how it goes from here. But I'm not seeing anything compelling saying this is about. I'm thinking that's about to reverse. HG, I'm still wondering about a test down here at this support trend line in the 4.7 area, just above the monthly pivot at 4.68. KC, we've got a likely bottoming pattern forming here. Now that's either going to be an inverted head and shoulders, and we're working on the right shoulder at the moment, or we're going to see a retest the low, and I'm keeping an open mind as to which one it is. On sugar, sugar hasn't, the double bottom pretty much has failed. We've gone back almost into a retest of the lows. I'm still looking at this as a potential falling megaphone, albeit not a very good one. And I'm wondering about a test of declining resistance in the 1675 to 85 area. I'm looking at CC. We broke down from what looks pretty obviously like a bear flag, and that should deliver a retest of the low here in about the 85.50 area. Looking at looking at cotton, still looks like a potential level bottom, forming, moving very slowly. Lumber the same, still looks like a bear flag forming. On wheat, this is a potential level top, and I'm waiting to see if it gets through the monthly pivot. If it does, this might break down and set up a retest this low in the 506 and a quarter area. Looking at corn, the buy signal reached target. We obviously had a double bottom, never actually broke up, but it fell back into the low anyway, and we've now got a larger potential double bottom. So we will see how that goes. Looking at soy, we've got a bull flag which has broken up, and I'm looking for a retest this high here in about the 108, 1.5 area. On soybean oil, we had a little inverse head and shoulders form here, but it kind of failed. So it doesn't mean it's not going to go up. That 60-minute buy signal has already reached the possible near-miss target. Live cattle, still watching this rising wedge. This could be a bearish overthrow. And lean hogs, again, I'm wondering if this is a bearish overthrow. And that is everything. So let's have a quick look at questions, of which, hang on. Oh, George, don't worry about it. Bigger picture webinar. I'll be sending you out an email. So really, don't worry about it at all. I'll come back to you on it, mate. But yeah, more or less. Okay, great. In that case, let's have a look at just cover ES and NQ. We still got some bearish leading tape today, as we did yesterday. After that, we've then got bullish days for three straight days, and I'm leaning towards the bull side here. I think this is a good opportunity, and we might well use it to go and retest the all-time highs, at least on ES and NQ. Well, SPX and Qs really, but I mean, very possibly on Dia as well, and that's what I would like to see happen here. Apart from anything else, I think the overall background is so uncertain. I'd rather really get it out of the way now, so that if it fails, we'll have some decent setups. So not necessarily the way it happens, but we saw 3 straight bullish after today, and so far is leaning bullish as well. We'll see how it goes. All right, great. In that case, my pleasure as always. And everyone take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.